Hey guys, so it looks like our epoxy is dry. We started this epoxy pour about 10 days ago, 10 to 14 days ago, and we did 2 pours. We did 1 pour that is 1 3/4 inches thick, let that dry for about 3 days, and then sanded our middle layer, and then added this other second coat on here. And yeah, so now it's been close to 5 days in this form. Well, 10 days in the form, 5 days for the second pour, and we're totally dry. So we're going to start taking it apart here and let you guys watch what it looks like after we take it out of the form. All right, here we go. We have to make sure we leveled our form off on our table. If you're looking at any of the shims on the side, leveling your form off while you're pouring your epoxy makes your wood and your epoxy sit a lot more level. If you don't have a level table and your wood's not level inside, when you go to finish it and router it off plane, you won't get your exact finish that you're liking. You might get 3/4 on one side and 1 1/4 on the other side for your epoxy pour. It's better for when you're counting for your epoxy. This way you're not wasting as much money. I mean, that's what I thought anyway. You guys can do what you want. You can waste your money on epoxy, but this stuff is not cheap. So far as well, we've got, I think we're sitting at approximately 25 hours, and we haven't even touched to start sanding or routering. This is only getting the wood, prepping the wood, taking the bark off, cleaning the bark off, epoxy. Yeah, so 20 hours, maybe 24 hours, and this is where we're sitting right now. So that's why these tables are so expensive. It's going to be nice when it's done though. If you're asking or thinking to yourself why I have these boards down here with these little blocks, it's to keep the wood down as we're pouring the epoxy so it doesn't come floating up. When you pour so many liters of epoxy or any kind of liquid and you're having your board inside, without it being clamped down, you got a good chance of your board floating up. Once your epoxy sets in underneath, it'll start to raise your board up. So you want to keep your boards down as tight as you can. Again, saving epoxy. Looking at this, you might not think it's too much, but we went through close to 40 liters of epoxy. So if you're thinking you're only going to need a little bit of epoxy, you better start thinking twice. It's a little bit more than you think it's going to be, but at the end of the day, it's going to be really nice. Got a couple of our blocks, looks like they got epoxied in. That goes to show you that epoxy is going to hold very well. Okay, we'll have to chisel this out real quick. I'm going to put you on hold and then I'll set you on record again. Hey, so it looks like I didn't pause the movie. I apologize for that. So now you're going to get it in 2 separate videos. So I was just saying that, talking in my other video, that we went through about 20 hours of prep just to get the table to where it is. We just about went through 40 liters of epoxy. We had clamped down with bars across, so we could keep the wood down as we're pouring the epoxy. And now we're here right now taking our form apart, seeing how it sits. We let it sit for about 10 days, so that's quite a ways. All right, here it goes. Cut our corners of our duct tape. A lot of people were asking me why we're using duct tape as well. Epoxy doesn't seem to be sticking to duct tape at all because of the adhesion on the tape and the gloss that's on the tape. So that's why if you notice anybody doing any kind of epoxy table, they're going to have duct tape, either red or blue or whatever the kind it is. If you don't duct tape and if you don't silicone your corners, you don't You get epoxy going all over the place. Here it goes. You get to see with me what it looks like after I take it out of the form. If you guys are ever looking at any tables like this, just give us a call. Keystone Construction Inc.ca is our website, or you can give us an email at office at KeystoneConstructionInc.ca. The www is my website, of course. And we can get you set up for a price of a table like this. We also do pens, we do rings, we do all sorts of stuff. Same with building custom furniture for retail stores. So we're not just a general contractor. Here we go. Want to see? Look at that. Isn't that something? If you're looking at this silicone right here, it's because I put that in here so the epoxy wouldn't travel down here and over. It looks like it did anyway, just a little bit. I tried to save a little bit of room for epoxy because I did not want to be spending considerable amounts of money on epoxy. I tried to save a little bit of money. And you can see the residue of my silicone where I siliconed it and then nailed it in. If I didn't use silicone, or if I didn't use epoxy, silicone or duct tape, I would be cutting this thing off. It wouldn't be looking too good. You guys can't really see the other side here, but it came out just the exact same way. I had a couple leaks in the corners when I did the form, so I had to, the day after I poured the first pour, I had epoxy leaking all over the floor. And that's what you don't want to do. So that's why I have duct tape on all the corners, because it seemed to find a way out, just like liquid always does. Doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty good. Hopefully we can reuse these boards. Clean them up and just take the nails out, and we should just be able to reuse them. I'm going to take you out of the thing here and I'll show you our first and second pour. I'm going to turn the phone around. Well, I guess it doesn't turn around. If you can see that, you can see where our first and second pours were, just a little bit right here on the edge of the form. So hopefully when we go to sand that and take that completely out of the form, you're not going to be able to see that seam at all. That's what we're trying to get away from. And that's the problem of having a first and second pour. So hopefully it looks a little bit better when I'm finished with it. It should. Oh, wow. All right, we got to take this thing off of the form now. Lovely pry bars. If we did this right, it should just pop off. Shouldn't hear breaking or anything. That's the sound we want to hear. So right now I'm just putting in some shims on the sides just so I can help pop the seal of this. These boards are pretty heavy by themselves. So right now it's like a suction cup down there. Eventually it'll pop off and we'll be able to take it off. Trust me, I put epoxy on all this, or duct tape on all this. Just these boards are super, super heavy. So I have to go get a few more pry bars. Hopefully she'll pop off. There you go. I don't know if you guys heard that on the screen there at all, but popped a little bit. There, start trying that underneath there. There we go. If you guys can see that, but she's starting to pop up now. Little by little. Grab some of these so we can set them underneath. Be the first time I'm seeing underneath here as well. So hopefully it'll go well. Those are the nice clean pops you want to hear. You don't want to hear any cracking. Cracking is a bad thing. I think that was it. All right. Clean off the side of the table here and we'll see if we can slide this puppy off. Working with epoxy is very, very messy, so making sure you have a clean area when you're working on it would be highly suggested. Make sure you clean your tools when you're done with them. Having a clean shop is a good sight as well. No one likes to have a unclean shop. Just about ready to slide it off. I tuck taped, look on top here, I tuck tape on top of here because I have some bow ties holding a crack together, and I didn't want any epoxy sliding inside there yet until I went to the finishing stage. Same with down in here. There's a couple cracks on the wood. I didn't want any epoxy getting in there. And once we flip it over, you're going to see that there's some epoxy or some tuck tape like this on the underside. There's a beautiful knot on the back side that I didn't want any epoxy in yet until I got to that side. So right now, let's hopefully we can slide it over and see if we can flip it over. It's only me in the shop here, so I did this all myself so far. It's tiring when you have to lift it all yourself, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to get your job done, right? So flip it over here. All right. All right, so it looks like we got some stuff that soaked to the top, but let me just get this side down here for you so you can take a look. Here we go. So as you can see, we had it laid down flat in our form. And we still have some that's snuck underneath. So this is going to be basically what it's going to look like when it's finished. You can see my tuck tape in here where I attempted to cover it up. I have a nice big knot hole in here. Hopefully it didn't soak in there at all too much. Or in here, there's my bow ties over here. I have another knot hole in here. So, yeah. So I'm going to turn the video off for now. And this will be the one video, and we're going to have another video of setting up our router and how we router it off all flush and even. All right, so thanks for joining in. Make sure you subscribe below, and for notifications, check us out online, KeystoneConstructionInc.ca, or shoot us an email or give us a phone call and let us know if there's any tables like this so far that you'd like. But till next time, be safe.